Okay, so we have a new word today, and the word is artifact. Everybody say artifact.
Artifact.
Raise your hand if you've heard the word artifact before. Raise your hand if you have not heard of the word artifact before. It's your first time hearing it. 1, 2, 3.
No, not me. Don't count me. Don't count me. No, don't count me. I was just joking.
Okay, what I want you guys to do now is I want you guys to go ahead and do a heads together. Talk about what you think the word artifact means.
Artifact means like let me think of it.
I think that
What about you?
artifact is like something about
a person like a picture of something that has right, so you know what it is.
a picture that has writing under
Like the title. Yeah. Okay, so a picture of something that has writing under it.
Can you give it your best guess? Your guess?
Yes, it's a picture of something that has writing under it.
But it's spelled correctly up there is what I'm saying.
Valuable treasure. This is a long one. We have to write it down everything.
Did you say something about a
Picture, it doesn't matter. That has writing under it.
Yeah, that was used in a person's culture.
It's basically the same thing.
A treasure that was
Legend.
Legend. A passed down story. Legend.
Okay, let's do Cougs number 4.
Something in a person's culture.
UW number 3.
I think it means like something that you can use.
Okay. We'll take one more. Let's do Cal Bears number 2.
A picture of something that has writing under it. A
Say that a
picture
little
of
bit louder.
something that has writing under it.
A picture that has writing under it?
Yeah.
Colton, what do you have to say?
So some other people at our table also thought a long lost treasure that was found and used in a Christmas picture.
Ooh, a long lost treasure.
Yeah, a long lost treasure.
Okay. So we're gonna say that an artifact is an object created by humans. An object created by humans. That's not necessarily our final meaning, but that's going to be our TPR. So who can help me with a visual?
An object created by humans.
Okay, an object created by humans
Yeah.
or humans.
An object created by humans.
Okay, I do like this part of it because that is a good symbol I think for object. It's like molding an object, right?
Or like molding an object.
Or molding an
Object created by humans.
pointed out humans ourselves for humans.
humans. Okay, Emma.
An object created by humanity.
Oh, I was asking what kind of
Motion.
motion to go with that saying. Thank you for your input. Yep.
An object created by humans.
Ooh, an object created by humans. Okay, Fletcher.
An object created by humans.
Ooh, an object created by humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is 3 things, so can we remember?
An object created by.
Or do we want to see?
I think Fletcher, because it's an object created by humans.
I think it's an object. I'd say Fletcher.
Can we vote?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do an object created by humans.
Yeah.
And
That's my son.
Okay, let's try it. Artifact.
Artifact.
An object created by
humans.
Artifact. Excellent. Okay, so when we say our signal word again, we're going to not only put away our CCD in our portfolio, put our portfolio in the center of our table, nice and neat. But I am also going to have an expert from each table meet me at the kidney table over here in just a minute.
thought we were going to do a legend.
You're right. Let me back up. We're gonna not do the expert group yet. We're gonna do a legend,
and
a
then do
narrative,
experts.
and then expert group.
In a project.
Okay, thank you for that reminder. Okay. CCD and portfolio. Portfolio is gonna set up to rear table, and then I'm gonna actually have you guys gather at the carpet. Okay. Artifact.
Artifact.
An object created by humans.
Artifact. Like I have one stone. Like she didn't say a word, but there's just I have another when she clearly said when I say that I have to have all my
Later. We don't need to touch them.
Yeah, to have all. She said gather beyond it. Right here. Can we go by the carpet? She said gather at the carpet. Go by the carpet. Is this oh, this actually there's no always what we have. This? Yeah. Over here. Yes. Is it recording? Of course it is. Maybe. Miss Maxwell, did you make that? No, she did not. She wished I did. You made that right here. I have the power stone.
I thought you made it because it looks like the one that you made
brothers who went about doing good. Coming to the Northwest Indians one time, they were persuaded by the chief to stay a while in his village. Knowing the wonder-working powers of the brothers, the chief said to them, "Won't you bring the salmon people to our shores? We often are short of food. We know that salmon is good, but they never come to our waters."
Then why did you... What?
"We will persuade the salmon people," replied one brother, "if we can find out where they live. We shall ask Snookum, the sun." After a good deal of struggle and using a few tricks, the brothers got the sun to tell them where to look for the salmon people. "The home of the salmon is a long way off in that direction," replied the sun, pointing toward the west. If you want to visit them, you must first prepare much medicine to take with you, and then all will be well. The brothers let the sun go, and he flew off into the clouds. After gathering many herbs and making much medicine, they said to the Northwest people, "Get out your canoes and make ready for a long journey. At sunrise tomorrow, we will set out for a visit with the salmon people." Next morning, they all started westward. For many days, they paddled, and finally they came near an island. There they saw what seemed to be a village. Smoke of all colors rose into the clouds. "This seems to be the country we are looking for," said the brothers. "Sun told us that this was the home of the salmon people." So the paddlers took the canoes to the beach, which were very broad and smooth. All of the Northwest people went toward the village, the brothers carrying the medicine with them. They gave some of the medicine to the spring salmon, who was the chief of the village. As a result, he was friendly toward the whole party. In the stream behind the village, Spring Salmon kept a fish trap. Shortly before the visitors had landed, the chief had directed 4 of his young people, 2 boys and 2 girls, to go to the water and swim up the creek into the salmon trap. Obeying his orders, they had drawn their blankets up over their heads and walked into the sea. As soon as the water reached their faces, they became salmon.
What?
They leaped and played together just as salmon do in the running season, and frolicked their way toward the trap in the creek.
I think I know where this is heading. What? Oh, they're children.
So when the time came to welcome the strangers with a feast, Chief Spring Salmon ordered the other of his people to go to the salmon trap, bring back the 4 fish they would find there, and clean and roast them for guests. When the salmon were cooked, the chief invited his guests to eat. "Eat all you wish," he said, "but do not throw away any of the bones. Be sure to lay them aside carefully. Do not destroy even a small bone." The Northwest people and the brothers gladly accepted the invitation, partook freely of the roasted salmon, but wondered why they were asked to save the bones. You want to have a
come back to life.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they would need all the bones to do that?
That's what I said.
I think they're gonna make like tools and useful stuff for later.
Oh, okay.
Like they could build stuff out of them. They could make dig a hole and put them into like make them fossils.
Okay. Blake.
Maybe because maybe they can like bring the fish back to life because when they're hungry they can eat the fish and then they come back to life and put them in the water and then eat them, come back to life and eat.
It's pretty much like that.
Kind of, so very similar to what you're thinking of,
That is
Isaac said, but you're saying it's a cycle, okay?
cycle of life.
When they all finished eating, some of the young men of the salmon village carefully picked up the little piles of bones the guests had made, took them to the beach, and threw them into the sea. A few minutes later, the 4 young people who had earlier gone into the water reappeared and joined the others. For 4 days, the chief thus entertained his guests with salmon feasts.
That's why
I
that's
knew
why
it.
they're called the salmon people.
I know. I was right on.
Wait,
Those
they
are children. I knew they were.
No, they come back to life.
multiple.
The care taken
They don't die.
The care taken with the bones at each meal excited the curiosity of one of the visitors. On the 4th day, he secretly kept back some of the bones and hid them. At the close of the meal, the rest of the salmon bones were collected in the usual manner and cast into the sea. Immediately afterwards, 4 young people came out of the white water, but one of them was covering her face.
This is kind of interesting. We're gonna get
Approaching the salmon chief, the youth said, "Not all of the bones were collected. I do not have any for my cheeks and my nose." Turning to his guests, the salmon chief asked, "Did any of you mislay any of your salmon bones?" "Some are missing," and he pointed to the face of the young woman. Alarmed by the result of his act, the Northwest youth who had hidden the bones brought them out, pretending that he had just found them on the ground. Now, all the visitors were certain that their hosts were the salmon people.
Sounds like Chief Joseph. Yeah.
"We have come to visit you, Salmon Chief, for a special purpose," explained the brothers. "We came to ask you to let some of your salmon people visit the Northwest waters, come up the streams of the Northwest people. My friends are poor, and they often go hungry. We shall be very grateful if your people will sometimes visit them." "I will do as you request," replied the salmon chief, "on one condition. They must throw all of the bones back into the water as you have seen us do. If they will be careful with the bones, my people can return to us again after they visit you." "We promise," said the brothers. "We promise," said the Northwest people. Then they made preparations to return to their home across the water toward the rising sun. As they were leaving, the salmon chief said, "I will send spring salmon to you the first of the season. After them, I will send sockeye, then the coho, then the dog salmon, and last of all, the humpback."
Whale?
Yes, humpback whale.
Or humpback salmon.
No, That's not.
What?
I don't think that's a thing.
That's not a thing.
I know.
Ever since that time, long ago, different kinds of salmon, in that order, have come to the northwest waters, to the sea, onto the straits, and into the streams. And in the days of old, before the coming of white people, the Native Americans were always very careful to throw the bones of the salmon back into the water.
That was exciting. Yeah, that was exciting.
What did you guys think?
Awesome.
Awesome.
It got a little dark, but
It got a little dark.
yeah.
What do you mean by
I
that?
liked it. The
Because
hunchback
of the-
yeah.
because
And
of
the
the
cheek
bones
of
missing.
just kind of like the whole thing. They ate the people.
Wait.
Oh.
The people turned into salmon and they ate the salmon.
Wait,
and
what
they
did
just
they
rested
do?
at infinite time loop.
What did they literally
Okay, hold on. If we have questions, let's raise our hand. Fletcher, continue. What? So you were saying because they were eating the salmon, which were technically the people.
Yes.
So you're kind of like,
Why did you eat your own people?
no, it's a sacrifice, right?
Maybe they wanted to do it. Maybe they wanted to do it.
Okay, Isaac.
At least that was right.
What?
At least that was right.
You both were pretty spot on. I was actually pretty impressed.
For me.
Blake and Isaac were pretty spot on that it's like a cycle.
Caleb said it too.
Salmon people,
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a.
They would come back to life.
and then they come back to life after they turn into salmon.
stay as kids so
That'd be cool to be. Wait, would that happen today?
Yeah, no.
Remember,
And
it's a
we
legend.
dive in water. It's not real.
There you go. Jaden.
How did the people even turn into salmon?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. Again, this is a Native American legend.
Watch this to see what's in
Austin.
It got very dark.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. Now that we've read our legend, when I say our signal word, we're then going to do expert groups. Okay. I'm going to raise your hand if you have not been an expert yet. Okay, so Colton. I'm going to do Colton, Angelina, Emma. Who from Blue Table?
Jaden, but Evie left.
Jaden. Okay, we'll do Colton, Jaden, Angelina,
Emma.
I know that
Emma, and then Orange Table. Okay, Jewel. Okay, we'll do Jewel. Okay.
And Zach.
I guess I'm here for another day.
Okay, so everyone else, you have this list of things that need to be completed.
I already did.
Okay. You need to be at a no higher than a level 1 voice. Okay. You need to ask free than me because I will be with a group. Most of what you guys are going to be doing is independent work. Okay. And then I want you to stay in one place and be working quietly. Thumbs up if that's something that you guys can be doing.
Now we know next.
Okay. Who can tell me what our next job is going to be? What are we gonna, after I say our signal word, what are we gonna be doing? Like,
Doing everything on there, and if you've done all of it, you read to yourself.
okay.
Or
While I write what?
Expert groups.
Expert groups. And then after expert groups,
We're
what are we
doing
gonna
a
be doing?
project.
Then we're gonna be working on our projects.
And then it's lunch.
And then it's lunch. Okay? Artifact.
Artifact.